If I may divide the field and build upon your previous question where we talked about genetic and genomic testing, as we discussed, genetic has more history and more adoption in the practice, has more structures around it. And genomics coming up right now, looking at more holistically at what happens in the cell, is a new approach which requires more data, more complexity. So very often there is a confusion between the two tests. We have two factors that lead to the changes in the cells and that lead to cancer. As we said, one of them is hereditary, and the other one is probably the environment, what we drink, what we eat, what we're exposed to, such as UV light, and it hits us randomly and creates those damages, as I said, with a knife hitting a ball of yarn, you hit a lot of different parts of it. So, but having said that, we have structures that help patients with genetic testing, for example, genetic counseling. It's a great service that exists nowadays in the US and many other places. And unfortunately, there's not enough genetic counselors to talk to patients about their hereditary risks. So very often the two of them are misunderstood. Roughly, based on some data, 4% of all mutations are hereditary that are associated with cancer, and 96% of them are actually somatic, or those that happen due to the environment. So though I talked about the two of them, those are the questions that we have heard that we had to explain what the differences between the two tests are. If we think about the future, you would really like to look at everything. When you go to see a doctor, you don't get the full picture of your body. You get a small X-ray of a small area, and then you might follow up to another area due to costs. Ideally, as costs go down, you will be able to look at the whole picture of the body. Just 12, 15 years ago, when the first human genome was sequenced, that cost $3 billion. And nowadays, it would cost us much less than that, a few $1,000s to look at the cell and see the genome of a particular patient very quickly. So patients are really confused by that, and the doctors order tests that pertain to particular types of tumors and that are dictated by the standard of care. And very often there is obviously there's a lag between the adoption of new technologies. And when the new technologies come, patients want to understand, how is this different than what my doctor has offered? For example, BRCA1 and BRCA2. Why are we looking at all those genes? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for my hereditary origins? And, do I need to talk to a genetic counselor? Do I need to talk to geneticists? Do I need to talk to just my oncologist? And there's a whole million of those questions.